Welcome to episode 80 of the Gridiron Garage. I'm here with the two boys, the homies. Who we got to my left here?
We got Zach Curtis, at Zach Curtis.
At Zach Curtis. And we got who else? The
J Law. What's up? Hanging out with my two buds.
Hanging out with his two buddies. And as always, I'm Griffin. Big Daddy Griff.
So I have a question
Daddy
for you.
Griff.
For me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Was J__LAWWW.
Yeah.
That's your at, okay?
That's my at.
Follow him on Instagram. Was two W's taken?
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
I'm not sure. That was made so long ago. I know for a fact one underscore was taken.
Was it?
So I probably just added another underscore.
Got you.
I probably wanted 3 W's, but one underscore, and it was like, that didn't work.
You think JJ Lawhorn has it? The rapper?
Maybe. JJ Lawhorn? Yeah. Search him on YouTube. He's great. He's a country artist, bro.
There you go. So little side story. So my name, the reason it became, because when I was a freshman in high school, Jake will remember, but I used to be, not that I'm tall now, but incredibly short. Like
how short?
Like under 5 foot short when I was a freshman in high school. For
No way.
Yeah, for about 3 or 4 months or so.
Damn.
And I hit a growth spurt, and I say growth spurt. It was a big growth spurt, about 4 or 5 inches, but it got me above that hump, and I grew a little more after that. But
He was the smallest kid on every sports
super
team
small.
I've ever been in my life.
But so I used to get mad because there's a teacher that called me Griffy Bear, and everyone started calling me Griffy Bear. I was like, fuck this. You know what I mean? So I just said,
Fuck this, I'm going to grow today.
I know. So I finally made my Twitter account back then, and I said, I'm going to make it something funny because everyone calls me that. So I made my at Big Papa Griff. But Big Papa Griff was taken, so it became Big Daddy Griff.
You still got all your old
Swear
posts?
to God. Huh?
You still got all your old posts?
I don't know. I never really said anything bad.
You were
so
like a
we're good.
meme lord for like
5
5 posts when you first got on Instagram.
Yeah, I know. Just post.
He posted like his first 5 pics are just memes.
Nice.
From like
Nice.
13-year-old Griffin.
Yeah, go look at my old Instagram if you want to laugh.
It's the classic
childish.
old, what's the picture of the cookies? This says lift on it. He said, do you even lift? It's the Oreos.
Oh, yeah. It was.
This tab has lift
Oh,
on it.
yeah.
It says lift. It says, do you even lift, bro?
He pulled a lift tab.
I had one of this dude with the baldest head I've ever seen. It was super shiny. It said this
Some
guy's.
random dude you took a picture of.
Can you put him on your Instagram?
It said this dude's head is brighter than my future. That was one of them. Yeah, I don't know. It was a fun time.
So
Fun
speaking
time, that's all I
of
gotta say.
Griffy Bear, so I went to St. Louis this past weekend, and we went to a restaurant, and so you ordered your food, and they wrote your name on like the butcher paper. It was a barbecue place, and so she asked me what my name was, and they write your order on it, and they kind of like pass it down the line, and they put the food on it once you get to each station. Well, I said that my name was Zach, and she was like, "All right, Zachy." And so
Zachy.
I was like, whatever, like they'll just hand me the tray at the end of the line. And so I ordered Hush Puppies, and they were like, oh, this takes an extra minute. We'll just bring it out to you when it's ready. So full restaurant, we're sitting there, and they come out with my tray, and they're like, scream it, Zachy! And I was so embarrassed. I was like,
Zachy.
yep, that's me. That's my food right here. And I didn't tell her that was my name, but
Why do you think? Did you think she actually thought your name was Zachy? Or she was just like,
no, she was
doing
like,
a pet name?
yeah, like, those like people who are trying to be friendly with you. Like, you could just tell by her personality, like, oh, I'm just going to call this guy Zachy just to, make my day better. But it just embarrassed the shit out of me.
That's pretty hilarious, actually.
So, but yeah.
We're going to call you pal. Hey, pal.
Hey, pal.
Hey, pal, I got your food.
Are you the guy that doesn't like to be called buddy?
Buddy? No,
Or bud?
that's not me.
No? I thought it was one
Buddy.
of those.
Yeah, my dad, he doesn't like when people call him buddy.
Oh,
I'm
what's up,
not your
buddy?
buddy.
Not your buddy, pal. I'm not your pal, guy. I'm not your guy, buddy. You guys ever seen that?
No, I
It's
haven't seen
from the South Park movie with like the original one, like way back in like the early 90s or early 2000s. They have all the Canadians attack America and everything, and that's the thing they keep going, I'm not your guy, pal. I'm not your pal, buddy. I'm not your buddy, guy. And just go back and forth.
I'm not a South Park guy.
So
I've been attacked on
real
here
quick,
before.
Zach, here's probably my favorite post I ever made way back in the day. This is actually, look at that one.
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah, dunking on a 6 foot rim. Says finally dunked on 6 foot today.
A proud man right there.
I know. Here's the one I was talking about.
Oh, my gosh. We should put those on our story, Gridiron Garage pod. Follow
We'll go
us.
back.
Gosh.
We'll dig up the old tweets.
Yeah.
We'll post some old tweets and some old Instagram.
What is it?
Photos.
Hashtag fuck dad. We'll dig those
Hey,
up.
he might listen to this. We might not need to post that one.
All right. Well,
Anyway.
we'll go into some sports talk.
We got a lot of sports talk today. So we got first off, some NBA news for all the NBA frogs out there. I got two big, huge NBA fans on the podcast with me here.
Huge.
So basically,
You're a pretty big fan, aren't you?
Big fan.
Huge fan.
I'm big and I'm a fan.
yeah, there you go. So basically, Suns in 4 was long gone. Suns in 5 is gone. Suns in 6 gone.
Uh-oh.
The Bucks have rattled off 3 wins in a row. Right,
Gone?
gone. The Bucks are leading the series now. Right now, it's Suns in
doesn't
7
mean
if they
they're
want to win.
gone.
No, but they were saying 4, then 5, then 6. It's
okay.
gone. They can't. They have to win in 7 now. So now it's Suns in 7. To be fair, Giannis has played insane. Middleton and Drew Holiday have played a lot better compared to what they were in the first couple games, and they were like really throughout the entire playoffs. They've been having hit or miss games, mainly Drew Holiday. Chris Middleton's been really, really, really good. But basically, it's looking like the Bucks are going to win this series now after going down 0-2. After everyone giving him crap, giving Giannis crap, he's been going out and balling out. He's balled out like every game, though. So it just makes me wonder, too, like how bad was his knee injury? Because that looked bad if you guys saw it. It looked like he tore his ACL. It literally did. It looked really bad. And now he's just out there just, running the paint, dunking. He's just out there running. That's one of the memes that people say about Giannis, that he doesn't do anything, doesn't take any skill. He's just bigger and runs and dunks it.
I saw a meme about Giannis, and I don't know what he did, but he like stopped and like flexed and looked at the camera, and the caption was like, any cornerback in the NFL when a wide receiver drops a wide open pass,
Or the ball gets sailed 10 yards over his head, and they do
he's like,
You don't want
you
to get
can't
mad
touch
at
me, you can't touch me.
Kirkpatrick for always doing that.
Yeah.
Drake Kirkpatrick did that a lot. He did do that.
He overthrew him.
Yeah, right.
But yeah,
It's 10 yards.
so the Bucks come storming back. They have Game 6 and the chance to win the finals. It'll be the first time that they've won the finals since, I want to say the 70s it was. 60s or 70s, I can't remember. But their two best players in their team that year, the last time they won, a guy named Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, right? I think everyone's heard of him.
Pretty good.
And Oscar Robertson. Those
Seagrass.
are those are the last two Bucks players, two best players in that team to win the championship. They also had Sidney Moncrief on that team. Maybe he was after that. I think he might have been after that. Anyway, I might be mixing up my generations.
Don't
but
know who that is.
Anyway, so this is really cool for Bucks fans. Shout out to our buddy Caudle, who was at Milwaukee last time. He went and saw, or we didn't see the game. I think he was, I'm not sure if he was there or not. I think he was outside just getting drunk. So sounds like him. But
Dude, NBA fans are brutal.
Yeah. He drove all the way up there just to watch the game?
No, I think they were on like a vacation.
Oh, gotcha.
But
Like, it's a far-ass drive just to stand out there and watch the game.
I think they were on like a vacation or something.
like
Just
that
happened to be
team
around the same time.
has been so good all year long. They make it to the finals and they lose the first game, and it's
Yeah.
like the entire NBA just turns
Clowns
on.
them.
Like,
Oh.
bro, your best player's shit. He ain't nothing.
Yeah.
like Giannis sucks at basketball.
So-
It's like,
Didn't he get a pretty
whoa,
big contract last year?
Giannis did it a couple years back.
Like, you realize they're in the finals right now. Like currently, it's not over yet.
So the whole state of NBA Twitter is hilarious, right? Because it's like one of the most toxic places on the internet, where it could literally, people call LeBron LeBum, they call him LaFraud, like stuff like that, and they just like make these great players, right? They call them like funny names and say they're terrible after they have one bad game or one semi subpar game. And I saw someone who photoshopped and recreated, this would be Twitter in the 80s if it was around, and it said like breaking news from Craig Sager, who used to be a reporter like Schefter back in the days. Like breaking news from Craig Sager, Larry Bird wins his third straight MVP, and all the responses are like, LMAO, bum, fraud. Magic Johnson going to take his cookies next year. Like it was like, I was just like everyone like in the comments like they would be today. I said, imagine if Twitter was around the 80s and this stuff was going on.
I saw this little Twitter screenshot and it just made me laugh. And it was Justin Gaethje. Is that his name? The UFC fighter?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Justin Gaethje, and it was a picture of him with like the belt on or something, flexing. And this girl said, "Why can't I get a guy like this with like hard eyes?" And Justin Gaethje literally comments on it and is like, "Hey," and the girl says, "No, stop." Like,
What do
he's
you
like,
want?
"I'm literally the guy in the picture." Like she thought he was just some random guy.
Bum. So I was watching the game the other day, and you know how they always show like celebrities at the NBA games and stuff, or any game. They like put, I know John Calipari was there, and they put his name underneath him, and then a few other actors and whatnot. And then this is how you know you made it in life. They just showed LeBron and didn't even put his name up. They were just like, "Yeah, you probably know who this guy is."
So let's talk about that real quick. So first off, new Space Jam movie come out. I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, it's already out?
Yeah, it's on HBO Max. So
Okay.
the boys maybe will watch it.
Let's watch it.
But it's on HBO Max. But it came out, and ABC, I think, is who was running the game. ABC runs the game, who is owned by Disney Corporation, right? That's their conglomerate they're with, right? So, obviously, Space Jam is not a Disney movie, right? It's against, like Disney. It's Warner Bros., and so they, instead of when they put LeBron's name up eventually, they said star of the new Space Jam, A New Legacy. Like, they didn't say like LeBron James, like one of the best players in NBA history. Star of Space Jam, A New Legacy. And it said IMDb rating 4.1 out of 10, Metacritic score 25%, Rotten Tomatoes 35%. They were so petty. They put up the bad reviews there.
Petty.
Just because it was one of their rivals. But like, in what place does a NBA game put up the reviews of a movie if only it's one of their rivals?
Because that's where the NBA is heading. Is downhill.
I just think that is hilarious. They put up all the scores.
I mean, LeBron
reviews.
was like set up for failure in that movie, though.
To be
like,
fair,
that movie could be really good, and the original movie not that good.
Yeah, I think it's more of a classic that people like because
Right,
it's like
a
the
classic.
generation like we grew up watching. It's like one of those.
So
things.
when you automatically like do a new
hard to
one,
compare,
Nobody's gonna like it.
You also got to remember too that one, it's a kids movie, right? So everyone's going, this movie fucking sucks. Like it's not cool. I mean, like, it was literally made for 11-year-olds. It was literally made for 10, 11-year-olds, right? The second thing is too, I don't know why anyone was expecting this thing to go out there and go 9.0 IMDb, 95% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's not like it's an Oscar-worthy film. It's literally a movie about the Looney Tunes, right? Playing basketball. To be fair, also from some of the reviews I saw, a lot of the critics didn't give good scores, but fan reviews are really good. Like a lot of people
The
actually liked
graphics
it.
looked good.
Yeah, a lot of people
commercials.
supposedly liked it from like the actual like fan reviews.
We'll review it.
But
Gridiron Garage review.
But the one thing that all these people were like, oh, the first Space Jam was so much better. It's like, you probably loved it because you were 7 years old going, Michael Jordan's dunking on the Monstars, right? And now you're seeing LeBron James, like, you know, supposedly, I don't know if this is true or not, supposedly in the big game, he only scored like 10 points total. He kept passing the ball, and they're like, typical.
Twitter's going to roast him.
Typical LaFraud, just trying to pad his stats. If people were saying stuff like that, I think it's pretty funny, actually. I'm a biggest LeBron fan you'll find, but I think it's pretty funny. They're just like literally roasting his game in a cartoon against a bunch of cartoon characters. So I thought it was pretty funny.
So who's winning tonight's game?
So we got the game when you listen to this tonight.
We got to
Tuesday
take it
night,
to Game 7, right?
And honestly,
I
think this is the easiest. Like, you just literally requires no thinking whatsoever. The easiest, don't think about it, just bet it. You can stake my betting career on this, right? Because of one thing. One thing that NBA Twitter has taught me is that the NBA is rigged, and they love ratings. This is the easiest Game 7 pick ever. The Suns are going to win this. They're the underdog. You take a money line. They're winning this game because Adam Silver wants to milk those profits. He's already lost money because the Lakers weren't in it and the Nets weren't in it, right? So ratings are already down.
Take it to Game 7.
I need as much money to recoup as we can. It's going to Game 7. So, you know, getting Tim Donaghy out there, get whoever out there. But this game is going to Game 7. Not even based off play, right? I don't care about the play. It's going to Game 7 physically because it's the NBA and they love drama. NBA is the most dramatic league I've ever seen. It's just drama, and they won Game 7.
So you're taking the Bucks?
No, I'm
Or
taking
you're
the Suns. The Suns money line.
But who's winning it all? That's what I'm asking.
I'd say probably the Bucks.
The Bucks?
That's my guess now. The Bucks. I've been switching back and forth.
You picked Phoenix, didn't you?
No.
Like from the start?
I picked the
Or
Nets.
like to be in the finals?
He picked the Nets to win it all, and he
the
picked
Nets to win it
Phoenix
all.
to lose. I picked the Bucks to lose to the Lakers, I believe.
Gotcha. All right, well.
So me and Griff tied.
We tied. We physically tied. Or...
And Zach loses another basketball challenge.
Well, you got to
I'm not a
remember.
basketball guy, all right?
You got to remember.
Me
though,
neither. I'm just riding the luck
Zach
wave.
claimed he didn't like basketball and gave up halfway through, so it doesn't count. We don't have to count it. Then, right?
Dude, my team has the MVP. They didn't give up shit.
But anyway, NBA, can't wait to see. I think Giannis is going to hoist up that Finals MVP and win it, and all the Harden fans are going to be mad because that's where that came from. As James Harden said, Giannis doesn't use skill; he just runs in the paint and dunks it. He said, "I wish I was 6'10" and super fast."
He's got a point.
I mean, yeah,
he obviously has a lot of skill, but
yeah.
it would definitely be easier if you're that tall.
Harden also
running
keeps the ball,
18 seconds out of the 24-second shot.
Yeah, exactly. So he probably has every opportunity to score and be better than Giannis.
You could name a famous NBA player, and I guarantee I could probably think up of something funny that people have said about him, even though he's probably great, right? Like Kevin Durant, they just call baby back bitch. They just call him that because he replies to people on Twitter. Kyrie Irving, everyone calls him weird. James Harden, everyone calls him a ball hog and a stat patter, right? No matter how good you are, there's always going to be haters, obviously. But NBA Twitter's like times 1,000. Like they literally just like people make their own accounts. Like there's a guy's named LaFraud Burner, and all he does is just post stuff about LaFraud James. He says,
Hey, it's
pretty funny actually.
You want to revive our Twitter accounts and just talk mad shit about Russell Wilson all the time?
Yeah,
I guarantee you, there's anti-Russell Wilson accounts. There's corny as hell and overrated.
Find them, dude.
Guarantee it.
Let's find it.
Guarantee it.
There's retweet everything they say.
Yes.
Yeah.
My Twitter is just gonna be retweet like all retweets of
there's people that hate on people that hate on Tom Brady, right? They say he's overrated. Patriots like there's people
Jake
that
thinks he's overrated.
There's people that'll do the thing with
whoa. I said the Bucks, not Tom Brady.
There's people that'll out there do the thing with LeBron where they'll say like first finals didn't count because he had the Heat with him. Second finals didn't count because he had the Heat. He had too much super team. Third finals doesn't count because Draymond Green was suspended. Fourth finals doesn't count because it was in the bubble. Right? They say stuff like that. So they say that with Tom Brady. They'll say first Super Bowl, the Tuck rule doesn't count. Like second Super Bowl, refs something. Third Super Bowl, deflate gate. Like they just like go all these degrees and say none of his Super Bowls count.
Dude, I still can't believe that the Patriots of all teams got caught spying on the Bengals. Like, especially when the Bengals won, what were they like? Two wins?
Yeah, 2 or 3 wins that season. And the Patriots had won like 10 already.
And they got caught spying on the Bengals. Like, how?
That's pretty hilarious.
That's pretty sad.
I mean, you gotta get desperate, right?
But that makes you question how many other teams have they been spying on?
All of them?
I think there's cheating in every single sport. It's just like a lot of it you don't know about, or the NFL's or other leagues are doing what the MLB does, which is like, yeah, just pretend like you don't know anything about it and everything will be fine.
They're going to go to Devontae Adams' gloves and just spider tack.
Oh, spider tack?
Spider tack his gloves.
The key to Devontae Adams.
So that's a good transition. Let's talk about pro football. Football put out their top...
Pro Football Focus.
Focus. Yeah, my bad. I should have probably put that in the notes. But anyways, they put out their top 32 wide receiver in the league going into the 2021 season. And... one kind of made me laugh. I mean, I know why they did 32 teams, but it sounds like a list that Griff would make. You know, top 7 receivers in the leaguers. But so let's dive into it. You guys want to start number 1 or number 10?
So real quick, this is based strictly off their Pro Football Focus ranking, right?
Yes,
sure.
yeah.
So
I mean, we can start at 1 because that's an easy one.
Yeah, Devontae Adams.
Devontae Adams. If his quarterback starting, stud.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, great wide receiver. If his quarterback's not starting, you can't put him in the number 1 spot. No way.
I don't think so. I think he definitely benefits from Aaron Rodgers. Not to say he isn't a beast. Not to say he isn't a beast, though, because he is a beast.
The biggest duh moment I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, he is a freaking beast. But
I mean, him connecting with those long balls with Aaron Rodgers, like he hits him every single time he's open.
Yeah,
like exactly. You know how many times on other teams you see wide receivers run to the like wide open downfield and go, fuck, throw me the ball. You know, like never does he miss that opportunity.
That's like AJ Brown for the Titans. Mm-hmm. I think he like low key called out Tannehill on Bussin' with the Boys podcast. He was like, dude, if I can get a deep ball 10 out of 10 times, I'm going to catch it. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, well, your name's also always open, or 1K always open. So.
The crazy thing about Devontae Adams too is he's not like he's like freakish fast, right? You look like Tyreek Hill. Like obviously he's really freaking good and he's got pretty good hands, but he just outruns everybody and is a really good route runner, right? Devontae Adams is an insanely good route runner, coupled with like physical ability that reminds me literally of like when AJ Green was in his prime. Like he can be covered. He can get a step on a guy because he shakes him. He's covered, not somewhat covered, and they'll throw him like a perfect pass, and he'll just go and just catch it every time. Like he's just such a good like, throw me the ball, I'll get it. You know what I mean? He's insanely good. Yeah. So number 2 on the list, this is the guy personally I think is the most skilled receiver currently in the NFL is DeAndre Hopkins. Right. I think DeAndre Hopkins is insanely skilled.
I would absolutely agree with that as well.
I think he's just
some
insane.
of his catches and spin moves and just the way he moves.
Similar physical ability, a little bit quicker, really good route runner. I think he's just insane.
I think that his hands are a little bit better than Devontae Adams, I would say.
Again,
he's more
not
skilled.
saying that Devontae Adams has bad hands, right?
No.
Yeah, insanely good.
Right.
But I would also put Tyreek Hill above DeAndre Hopkins.
Oh,
why's that?
I think so. Just
I would.
The team he's on?
Yeah, the speed, yes. But also, I mean, his numbers last year, they were better in I think 2 less games, and he still had better stats. Tyreek Hill did.
Have you ever seen his fantasy football picture?
Yeah, his neck.
Wide ass neck.
He's got a wide neck.
I just think Tyreek Hill's electric, and anytime he's got the ball in his hands, he can take it to the end zone.
Yeah. I think that if John Ross
Patrick Mahomes, the quarterback, you can't forget about the quarterback that's on his team.
Oh, dude, quarterbacks are the most important for a wide receiver.
No doubt.
in my opinion. But if John Ross would have panned out, I think that he could have been like a Tyreek Hill dude. Like, throw it to him anywhere. If he's
That's
open.
what we wanted.
There's
he never was.
There's two big problems with John Ross. So one, he's
catch.
obviously insanely fast. Well, I guess three then. One,
Injury
he
prone.
can't catch. He's injury prone, and he was not really a great round runner. He's just faster than everyone.
Yeah.
Like, you watch Tyreek Hill, and he just makes these insane cuts.
Right.
And you watch John Ross. I mean, obviously, he
Well, you watch Tyreek
Cruise
Hill and they'll
all of
literally
us.
just like throw him a screen pass, and then he'll like
shift everybody.
he'll just shift for like 5 seconds, and the defender will just shift with him, and like no one will like approach him. They're too scared.
Yeah, I know.
They know if they run at him, he's just gonna make him look stupid.
That's all is he like 5'10"?
Yeah.
They must
Hill's
just like
5'8" or 5'9".
5'8", yeah.
they must just stay in front of him until they get help.
Yeah.
Like that's the only way to tackle him is to get help.
So next on the list we have Allen Robinson, which I could see being a contest, but I think he's actually really, really good.
Yeah.
I don't know if I put him as the fourth best, but I think he's definitely a top 10 receiver.
I mean, like we just said, quarterback means everything.
Yeah.
You got Andy Dalton slinging
Well,
to him.
what I will say,
dropping Allen
this is-
Robinson down on
This is
list.
this
for
is
real.
based off their ranking from last year, right? Their Pro Football Focus ranking from the season before. So that means Mitch Trubisky, you just
Right.
said, was a good quarterback,
No.
and Nick Foles.
No, this is going into the
Yeah, this is-
2021 season.
Yeah, but it's going off their rankings from like the past seasons, though. They can't just put it together a Pro Football
No,
Focus
are you
score
talking about?
For Allen Robbins, they just made up a ranking because Andy Dalton's so good. And so they were just like, hey,
This is
we'll
their
just put him in.
projection.
I
Yeah,
know,
this
but
is-
but they project it based off their scores from the
Yeah.
years prior, though.
I'll pull
Right.
up the
I know what you
article.
mean.
I'll pull up the article just so we're clear.
Right.
But
No,
it's
keep
fine.
going.
But
No, I'm
again,
moving Allen Robinson
moving him down, but
down
I
the
think he's
list
top 10.
because of team, because of quarterback. There's no way I think he should be the number 4 receiver in the league.
It is crazy to think about. Like, what if he was like, in Adam's spot or in like Tyreek Hill's spot or something? How good
So
would he be?
at the 5 and 6 spot, I think this is very interesting, and I'm going to say that they have these two posted too high on the list as well, not because of talent, but because of the team they're on. So we have Julio Jones and AJ Brown coming in at 5 and 6. And you can't tell me that they're going to have a top 5 running back and 2 top 10 wide receivers on the same team. There's just not enough
They have a
stats to
loaded
go around.
offense. I mean, yeah, I can see what you mean.
There's not enough stats to go around to give all 3 of those a top 5, top 10 looks.
I can just quick fantasy insight. I can see this being one of those dartboard teams, right? Where it's like, all right, one guy's got Julio, one guy in our league's got AJ, and one guy in our league's got Derrick
Yeah.
Henry. Which
Everyone's
one's going to get all the
watching.
touchdowns? You know what I mean?
I mean,
It's
you know,
gonna be
Derrick Henry's going to get his touches, but I don't
Yeah.
know. I can't see them having to, like, one of these players is obviously they're going to just take stats away from each other the whole season, right?
No, yeah, I 100% feel
Although they're extremely talented, not taking anything away from Julio Jones or AJ Brown.
No.
They're great receivers, and they're going to make a great team over there with the Titans, I think. But for individual stats and fantasy rankings, you can't pick both of those that high on this list.
Could be tough. We'll see. I think they both have really good seasons, so but we'll see. Hopefully Julio stays
Top
healthy.
10?
I kind of blanked out, but
No, we'll see.
I don't know what you guys said about him, but I think that with I know you said Julio Jones and AJ Brown, it's gonna be hard to both
And
of them
their
and
running back,
yeah,
yeah.
and that's what I was gonna say with Derrick Henry. Like, how are you gonna have a guy who rushes for 2,000 yards plus 2 1,000 yard
That's what I said.
receivers? Like, I mean,
Unless they are like
So,
the
yeah.
most insane offense you've ever seen in your entire
Right.
life, which that's not the offense that they run in Tennessee, even though they're great and they'll probably be super consistent. There's not enough stats to go around.
Right.
There's just not enough yards in the game.
unless they're literally playing like a Jacksonville Jaguar defense every week, where they don't watch game film and rush the Bengals like 2 times in the whole game. But I don't know. I mean, I like where AJ Brown's at. I do think it's kind of hard to put Julio Jones and AJ Brown in the top 10. I know you just said that, but I will agree with that.
I do think AJ Brown's really talented. So 7, Michael Thomas.
I like it.
I like Michael Thomas a
He
lot.
gets his touches. He gets it all over. He gets medium routes, short routes. He
similarly
makes plays
to
on his feet.
Similarly to Kevin Durant, also a player called a baby back bitch by multiple fan bases, which I think is deserved a little bit. He definitely complains a lot. I think he's super talented. Again, he's not the fastest guy, but a really good just possession receiver and getting the ball and just getting you yards. He was very injured last year. I think he'll still have a good year. If Jameis is playing quarterback like we expect to, it's going to be a bunch of deep bombs.
Yeah.
So, which is not really his game. He's not really a deep bomb receiver. So I'm actually interested to see how that's going to work out.
That's what I was going to say. I don't like him at number 7. I don't really like him in the top 10 after Breeze retired because I don't think, I mean, Jameis Winston has the deep ball threat, but I don't think he's accurate. And so, and like you just said, Michael Thomas isn't really a deep
Well, you
ball
forget Zach. He
threat.
had LASIK.
Okay, well,
Someone's got a case of James
He also
derangement
stole crab legs and got in trouble about that. So, not the brightest, but anyways. But I think that with Breeze gone, I don't put him in the top 5. Top 10's kind of pushing it.
So
Still good though.
I can see that argument you had. I think he's just too talented not to leave in the top 10 though somewhere. 8, we got Stephon Diggs, who I think is too low. I would honestly flip.
I would
straight
right
up. I would honestly, in my opinion, I think Stephon Diggs is insane, especially with that offense. With Josh Allen, really have probably the strongest arm in the NFL, and he's a deep ball receiver. I could see Stephon Diggs being it up like to where Allen Robinson's at. Like I'd see like a flip flop for that. I think Stephon Diggs is super talented.
Go ahead and move him up the list.
Oh yeah, go ahead and move him up. Stephon Diggs is awesome.
Where would you put him at?
I'd flip him and Allen Robinson straight up.
I don't know. It's hard to tell because I'm moving around so many people. Like almost none of these that I left.
So maybe we think about
I would say top 5 for sure for Stephon Diggs.
So next week, maybe we come and bring our top 10 receivers next week, our own list. Just say we'll compare into what their list was, and we'll see how our list compare.
We can do that.
Do it real quick. Do we want to do it based off how we think their stats will be? Do we want to do it who we think the best?
It's fantasy points.
Is?
That's what this list does.
So we're gonna go off fantasy. Okay.
Fantasy points,
so
non-PPR.
We'll go fantasy then.
Okay.
Fantasy non-PPR. We'll bring our own list next week.
Yeah, they didn't say if it was based on 2020 stats in their article.
Okay.
So
this is probably his projections then.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Stephon Diggs 8. Number 9, Adam Thielen, who again is super talented.
I like it.
I think Adam Thielen is definitely up there in the top 10. I think he's good, close to the bottom part of the top 10 too. So I'm fine with that.
Yeah. But kind of the same way, Justin Jefferson in the top 10.
So I think Justin Jefferson is insanely talented. So talent level, I would put him higher than 10. I could see the argument being made though, similar to the Julio AJ Brown thing.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
That they're both in the top 10 could be tough. But Justin Jefferson was insane last year. Like he was so good as a rookie year. So we'll see if he has the same production level this year. I really hope he does. I like Justin Jefferson a lot.
I just think with Adam Thielen, I had him in one of my fantasy leagues last year, and it was like a late pick, and I picked him up, and he ended up scoring like a shit ton of points.
Adam Thielen's really good.
He ended up becoming like my wide receiver 1 in that league.
Adam Thielen's awesome, especially with Stephon Diggs off that team.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the guy now.
Yeah.
He's going to get so many touches.
I think Justin Jefferson's going to end up having more fantasy points.
You think so?
I think he's going to have more of the touchdowns and big plays.
Justin Jefferson, he's the one that broke the rookie receiving yards, right?
Yeah.
So he's extremely talented.
Super. They're both insanely good. I think it's a toss-up to which one's going to have a better season. I would lean towards Jefferson, but not to say Adam Thielen isn't going to have a really good year because he's just like a Mr. Reliable. Like just throw him the ball and he'll catch it.
Dude,
like,
this says something about the Vikings wide receiver coach, man.
Oh, yeah.
Stephon Diggs, Adam Thielen, and Justin Jefferson in the top 10.
One thing, too, Adam Thielen went to like a Division III like college in Minnesota out of nowhere, and he somehow made his way undrafted all the way
Have you ever heard his story?
It's insane.
Have you ever heard it? Adam
no.
Thielen. So essentially, he, like Griff just said, he went to like a small school, didn't get invited to the combine.
Really small school.
Yeah, like
not like EKU small, like really
like
small.
Smaller than that. And didn't get a look at the combine. Paid his own way. I think it was like $400 to go to this camp. And he said he showed up, dude, and it would be like me and you trying out with Adam Thielen. That's how like different the skill level was. And so ended up getting some type of look from the scouts. He's from around where the Vikings play. Got an invite to the Vikings camp. Ended up making the practice squad, and then ended up making the team, and then just signed like a 4-year, like, I don't know, $40-50 million contract or some shit like that. But he was going to give up on football.
The dream.
And he had a job selling medical stuff, like a sales job. And he was like, "Fuck this, dude! I'm going to the NFL." And like literally took $400 and made it.
Chase the dream, baby.
Know, dude, that's like ultimate grit.
So
someone to put on the list that I thought
people are missing.
Mike Evans is not on this list.
Yeah,
Mike Evans has been a top 10 in fantasy points for the past 3 years, and I'd say hard to believe that this year's is going to be different than that.
He's number 12,
but
that
maybe
makes you feel any better.
That does make me feel a little better.
I think an obvious choice is DK Metcalf. I was gonna say, I don't know how he's not on the list.
We need to talk about DK Metcalf. Remember when I got laughed out of our fantasy football draft last year by saying
you, and he was awesome.
He was going to be better than Tyler Lockett, and I got laughed out by JT, and I will call him out on the pod.
You did get laughed at. I probably made fun of you too. So.
Yeah, everybody did. And look, now he's being talked about being a top 10 wide receiver in the league. So
I would have put him on the top 10 list, honestly. On this list, he'll be on my list.
Dude, he's just built so big.
Yeah,
like he gets stronger as the game goes.
He's awesome. He's fast. He's big. He's got good hands. He
was close to making it.
Calvin Ridley, number 11. Mike Evans, 12. Chris Godwin, 13.
Oh, Ridley's. I like
your boy Amari Cooper, 14.
No.
Amari Cooper had a DK Metcalf's very interesting.
That is very interesting.
One, I think DK Metcalf's better. Not that Amari Cooper isn't insanely good. He is.
Yeah.
But also the Cowboys, I feel like, have more weapons. So I feel like there's points to be spread out a little bit.
So I wanted to talk about this one. I had it on my list. Odell Beckham at 18 over Jarvis Landry at 21. Now,
It's going to be a potential pick, right?
what's that mean?
Like his potential is higher.
Yeah,
Right,
if
right,
he plays
right.
a full
Even though
season, they
he's-
think he's gonna have a better year than
Even though he
Jarvis.
hasn't
which
performed.
Right.
I think if they both play full seasons, I think Odell will have a better year. But it's not to say it could be wrong, right?
I just feel like with Odell, there's something about him, and I can't pinpoint it. I don't think that he is an elite level wide receiver anymore. And there's just something I see in Jarvis Landry as a skilled player that is better, who can go out there and perform every game. But when it comes to OBJ, it's like you might have one game where he just goes off for 150 yards, and then the next 3 games he's like, oh, I only got 60, 70 yards that game. And granted, that 150-yard looks good on the stat line, but when it just comes to like consistently playing well, I think Jarvis Landry is the better.
I wouldn't throw Odell Beckham out until one either gets hurt again or he throws out like 3 or 4 straight duds to start the year. Right?
Yeah.
I'm still in on Odell. I think he's
How
insanely
many temper
talented.
tantrums before you give up on Odell Beckham?
Yeah.
Dude, apparently he said he was turning his life around when he got to Cleveland.
I don't know.
How many field goal nets does he have to fight?
Yeah,
So
right.
I mean, he hasn't really had
He
any
married
fight
the
in-
field goal
and
net.
lose.
Like the next week, he
hasn't-
married it.
He hasn't really had any really temper tantrums since he joined
think you're
Cleveland,
right.
though. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not out on Odell Beckham. I think he's just too talented not to be like insanely good. So we'll see. Again, I think it's either going to be he's going to get hurt again, or he just doesn't mesh in Cleveland. And he's not going to have a good season.
Yeah.
But I think he will have a good season. I think if he stays healthy, he'll have a really good year. Their
And
offense is going to be loaded. So
Tyler Lockett at 22. Speaking of DK Metcalf.
yeah, he dropped down the list. Definitely, DK took over the number 1 receiver role in that offense.
I mean, I
that's fair.
think Tyler Lockett still is a very good receiver. Don't get me wrong. But I just think that, like, if you're going to throw a jump ball, if you're Russell Wilson, who are you going to look for?
Oh, yeah, well, obviously,
If
DK.
you're a quarterback that loves to heave deep balls over people's heads,
Like Russell Wilson does.
like Russell Wilson.
well, Zach, actually, you throw to the open receiver.
Oh, yeah. Russell Wilson doesn't do a good job at that.
I don't know. Look at his completion percentage. Pretty good. But anyway,
won MVP.
this was the top 10 list according to PFF for fantasy rankings for the next year. So pretty interesting. We'll come with our own list next year or next week. Sorry.
You had Tyler Boyd and Higgins.
Yeah, so Tyler Boyd actually made
And
number
Chase.
32, which I'm good with that. I mean, he's a good slot receiver. But
The key of consistency.
Yeah.
Tyler Boyd.
I think if Tyler Boyd keeps his his role within that offense, and T. Higgins and Chase are out wide, like I feel like that is going to be on paper, one of the best receiving cores.
Pretty good.
Fair enough.
Next year.
So,
But hold on, I want to call out one more person before we go on. Antonio Brown at number 24. Like
That's high.
I think that's a little too high. I think they just have too many receivers in their team. I think he's going to get kind of lost in the offense a little bit. I
Right.
could be wrong. I'm not to say he's not talented. He probably still is talented, but he's a little bit older and he's like not their main guy. He's number 3 in their receiving now, I'd say.
I would say if you picked him that high in fantasy, you are risking it.
oh, for sure.
Like, you are definitely risking it.
So before we move on out of NFL, I got some drama, some scuttlebutt, some rumors. Some rumors about your boy Aaron Rodgers.
Oh,
So,
let's hear it.
I saw, and this is Twitter, right? So take that with a grain of salt. But supposedly there's a person that is close to a person who I guess does a lot of like cleaning, like maid servicing for a lot of the players for the Packers, right?
Yeah.
I think I'm getting this right. And apparently they clean Aaron Rodgers' house there in Green Bay, right? Like they do like weekly cleanings, daily cleanings, things like that. Supposedly Aaron Rodgers, where he lives, and I guess he lives with his, I don't know if it's his fiance, I think it is Shailene Woodley or whatever.
I think they got married, actually.
Maybe they're married, one of the two. They live together. They both called for a substantial deep clean, is what was the words used, of the house, right? So now all the Packers Twitter is freaking out. They said this is one of two things. One, it's because he's been gone living his best life for the past 3 months. He wants to come back to a clean house. Or two, they're prepping to put it on the market. They're
There
trying
ain't
to
shit
sell
in
it.
the house,
They're
yeah.
trying to sell it. They're trying to get the house deep clean, get it sold, and make it look nice for the realtors.
That's what I would think, yeah.
Oh.
Well, I mean, I would be fine if he left Green Bay. Apparently, they've shitted on him. He doesn't like it there. I mean, if you guys don't like where you work at, what are you going to do? Leave? Exactly. So, I mean, granted, there's a plethora of other jobs
I
for
just wanna
us.
say he's
There's
kinda
only
throwing a little
31
bit-
other jobs for this guy, and how many of them need a quarterback?
Not to say Green Bay has done them like the best, right? Because I think that's fair to say they probably haven't with some of the stuff. If it's supposedly if he's asked for all this stuff and they say, yeah, we got you, they're like, nah, never mind, right? That's fine. I get that. But at the same time, if like it's hard to go in as a player, just say demand you want all these people fired or I'm leaving, right? It comes off a little bit as a temper tantrum to me, a little bit. So I think he's throwing a little bit of a diva, a little bit. I think there's probably fault on both sides. I think it's a little bit of a disdain relationship at the moment. They need to go to counseling. They need to go to group counseling together.
Apparently, they all sat down together.
I would love to see a Dr. Phil special.
Oh, that'd be great.
With
Aaron Rodgers says, "Cash me outside."
With the president of whoever the Packers is currently sitting in the middle, and on one side Aaron Rodgers, and the other side Goot Kuntz, their GM, just hashing it out. Right? You know how much money that would make if that was a paid pay-per-view? People would fucking pay for that. Just to watch them like argue.
So I will make it clear because you led off with saying that Aaron Rodgers was my boy, and I think he's a very good quarterback, very good skill wise, and I think
you love Aaron Rodgers.
And I think people shit on him way more than what they should.
You love Aaron,
but
Rodgers.
I want to put this out there that I agree, his attitude is not the best. All right.
I will say,
and apparently he's very shitty to his family and all that. And you just got to look past that when you got a good player on your hands. All right.
So I will say,
teams have looked past much worse.
Exactly. Like, let's just talk about the Cowboys. Jeez, Greg Hardy beating people, fucking Pac-Man Jones.
Well, let's talk
about
about
Bengals players.
Yeah, the Bengals players.
We don't have a good track record.
Yeah, well, that's because we picked up the Cowboys.
Anyway, so
we got to start running back.
I think that's pretty much it for NFL news. I think camp starts probably tomorrow for some. I think the Cowboys camp starts tomorrow.
Let's go.
You know what that means?
We're gonna watch Hard Knocks.
They're starting filming Hard Knocks tomorrow. They've already started filming it, but yeah, I cannot wait for Hard Knocks. Zach, you got to watch Hard Knocks with us.
Come over, family movie night, Hard Knocks.
What day is it on?
They come out usually Mondays, I think Monday or Tuesdays.
Well, I'm over here on Mondays.
So it's usually after, I can't remember. I'll have to look it up. So we got to watch it. Hard Knocks, I'm going to watch it regardless, but Hard Knocks is great. And it's just great because I love seeing the personalities of players. You have players you'd never even think of. You're like, wow, that dude is freaking hilarious, right? And normally you just see him with a helmet on making tackles or blocking people, and then you see him like actually like being a human being. It's awesome. It's super cool.
I agree.
But yeah, I think that's it for NFL news. We got some MLB news here. So second half of the season has started. A lot of teams that are underperforming, some teams overperforming, some teams performing to what they thought. To start out here, the Yankees struggling, right? 8 games back in the AL East. I believe I think there's 7 games now. I think they just won.
Yeah, they beat Boston Sunday night.
Yeah, they beat Boston. Gleyber Torres, I was watching the game, hit a bomb. Former Cubs prospect. They traded them for Aroldis Chapman, won a World Series, and then Chapman went back to the Yankees. So the Cubs literally lost Gleyber Torres for essentially a World Series, which I'm fine with.
I want to talk about something about the Yankees, but continue with what you want to say.
That's really what it is. The Yankees 7 games back right now. They beat Boston. But I think it's going to be interesting to see if they have to turn it on now. You know what I mean? They just start playing really well, or else they're going to struggle. Aroldis Chapman has not been very good this year, especially the last month and a half.
So this has nothing to do with the game of baseball, like where they're at in the standings. But did you see that Yankees fan throw a ball and hit
Verdugo?
Yeah. So how do you feel about that? I mean, I didn't see the video. Did he straight like beam it at the guy, or did it bounce and hit him?
I haven't even seen the video. All I've seen is the aftermath. I don't think there's a video on the internet of it actually happening.
I haven't seen it.
No.
So my thought is, if it's him like saying fuck the Red Sox, right, and just beaming him in the back or in the head, that's kind of messed up, and he should probably be arrested for it, honestly.
Yeah.
That's assault. Yeah, that's assault. Or if it's different, if it was like,
remember the video of the guy throwing it off the green monster and it like one hops and hits Stanton as he ran?
Yeah, but that was a home run getting tossed.
Right,
back.
yeah, that's what I'm
but
saying.
if it was something like unintentional like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It'd be different if it was unintentional.
But if he straight like four-seam fastball and it was back.
I think so. Supposedly what I saw people were saying was that it was end of the ending ball that was tossed up in the stands, and the dude caught it, and it was everyone was chanting like throw it back or something like that. Mm-hmm. And so he just threw it back and ended up hitting him, but I don't know the details if he intentionally hit him or not. I don't know what the details were. I find it kind of weird though, because supposedly inning ends, Yankees in the outfield, they toss it up, catches a Yankees ball, and everyone tells him to throw it back in Yankee Stadium, right?
Yeah.
And then he chucks it back when the Red Sox are out there. So unless the Yankee fans are like, hey, throw it and hit this dude, like, I wouldn't throw a ball back to my favorite team that gave me a ball. You know what I mean? That's why I think it's a little weird about it.
So have you seen the John Boy clip? He has posted it on his Instagram, and it was a video of the person standing next to the guy who threw it. And you can see the Boston's left fielder like yelling at the guy, and then all the Boston fans are pointing at the guy who threw it. And so the video is the person standing next to him, and you can just tell, dude, this dude's like rubbing his palms across his thighs like, oh, fuck, I just fucked up. Like, he was so scared. Like, everybody was yelling at him.
I thought he was going to get arrested.
Yeah, and then the security guard came and was like, you, and he like immediately got up like, dude, I'm about to get jumped by this whole section of Boston fans. But obviously we don't know what happened If he straight up threw it at his back, yeah, because he did get banned from every MLB ballpark. I don't know if you saw that.
One of the biggest love-loss rivalries in sports, definitely. Boston and Yankees, they hate each other.
But I was also watching the Sunday night game with Boston and the Yankees, and I think the Yankees were batting, and the Boston catcher stands up and like throws his hands up, and the ump was like, "What are you doing?" And there was a guy out in center field, and so their batter's eye is obviously like every
Lasers.
every other ballpark, but then they also have like standing room above it. And apparently somebody was shining a laser down on the field and hit the batter in the eye.
Genius.
But it had to be a Boston fan if the Yankees were batting. But
dude, you got to wait till like there's the critical time. You're like, hey, talk to the pitcher, tell him to throw a fastball right down the middle. I'm going to blind the batter. We're going to get this out.
But then the announcers were talking about it, and I guess back in like maybe the 50s time frame, there was something where there was a scandal where kind of like how the Astros had the buzzer, but there was some guy out in center field and they were flashing a light to tell the batter what pitch was coming. And then so the ending, and they come back from break, and the announcers immediately, because they were ESPN announcers, was like, we would like to clarify that we were not, insinuating that there was some type of scandal going on. There was no pitch stealing going.
That's funny.
And I was like, the producer yelled up from the truck, like, you better shut up. Especially with playing Boston.
No, I agree.
Interesting. So you guys talk about Yankees leading that division. Boston Red Sox, after the 2020 season, absolutely awful.
Yeah.
They were no good at all.
Well, they also
to
really
come
good
this year, their pitching's been good. To come in this year and take that lead in that division, pretty impressive. Don't know how to do it. I would say it's overperforming, but maybe it's not. But the team that I think is overperforming is the San Francisco Giants. They come out. Everyone thought that West Coast was going to be a 2-horse race between San Diego and the Dodgers, and it has not been. It's been run by San Francisco, and I have no idea how. I would say after the course of the season is going to take on, the Dodgers are finally going to take over, but I don't know how they've been so good.
I think the Dodgers are only one game back.
Yeah, so they're a game back.
So the Giants have had a little bit of a resurgence. Pretty crazy. So Kevin Gossman, who's a long-time MLB player, was never like great, was always kind of a good pitcher, had a really insane season, had a couple bad starts in a row, though, but he's had a really good year. Buster Posey, resurging, having a really, really, really good year. Mm-hmm. He's also hurt right now, I believe, because I think he didn't play in the All-Star game because he was hurt, but he's been playing really well. And then Brandon Crawford, who used to be really good, like on those World Series teams they were on, he was like one of their best players, their shortstop. He's like been Mr. Reliable for him. Last couple seasons didn't really hit for average or anything like that, but just kind of like would hit a home run every now and then, and like was an all right player. But he's having a really good season this year now. He's like playing really good. I believe he's an all-star. So they're having a resurgence from these guys that are a little bit older and they're playing like insanely good. So we're on the Giants. It's weird too because it's not an even year. They always say the even year curse, right?
I also think they're not quite built like the rest of the MLB teams. Maybe that's an advantage. I mean, I think they have a little bit more contact than a lot of other teams have. I mean, they're still hitting a lot of home runs, so I don't want to take away. They're still hitting a lot of home runs, but they're not striking out, I feel like, as much.
I just physically cannot fathom that there is a Giants team, a San Francisco Giants team that's really, really, really good without Pablo Sandoval. Without the Kung Fu Panda sitting there hitting dingers. When I think of the Giants and you say Giants World Series contenders, what do I think of? Kung Fu Panda hitting them into McCovey Cove.
So when I went to St. Louis over the weekend, that's who they played with, San Francisco, and they lost. But I'll throw out two names to you, and you tell me why they lost. So Anthony DeSclafani was the pitcher. Remember that name?
Yeah.
And then Kirk Casale was the catcher.
Disco's been having a good year, though.
Yeah, and DeSclafani's actually had a good season.
Yeah, I think he's like 10-4. But it's just
really good.
Yeah, I know. I just like hating on the Reds. So he gave up a dinger, and I was like, typical Reds player.
So I think
he shut down the Reds when they played.
Yeah, probably. He might have. So a team that I have to eat some crow on because I was wrong, right? Yep. Twins and White Sox. So before the season started, I said the Twins were better than the White Sox, partially because I wanted to hate it because it's the White Sox and I'm a Cubs fan. But secondly, I actually did believe the Twins were going to have a good year. I was wrong.
Way wrong.
They literally broke the record for most home runs in 2019 by any MLB team ever.
So I was thinking
the Twins did.
So I was thinking that what's their guy's name? He's a first baseman. Miguel Sano was having an insane season, hit a bunch of homers. Thought Buxton was having an insane season, which to be fair, he's playing really, really, really good. He's been hurt though. He got hurt a while back. Barrios, one of their pitchers, is really good. I thought they had a really good team. I was wrong. The White Sox, to their credit, they're missing one of their best hitters too. He's been out the entire year. No. Luis Robert.
Oh, okay.
He hurt his shoulder at the beginning of the season. Had to have surgery. He's about to come back. So Tim Anderson's back, and Luis Robert's been out the whole year, and they're still like really good. Their pitching is really good though. Like I literally they showed the All-Star lineup when they named all the All-Stars, and they had like 5 All-Stars and 4 of them were pitchers. Yeah, they had like Liam Hendricks too. Did you guys ever see the clip of Liam Hendricks pitching at the end of the All-Star game? He was mic'd up and he kept dropping F-bombs. He was so like, it was definitely like when you think of guys they wanted to mic up for the All-Star game, who's some players you think they mic'd up? Fernando Tatis, right? Yeah. They mic'd up Chris Bryant just because he had the storylines going with him about him getting traded, and he's a talkable guy, right? They had all these players mic'd up that were like, well-known names, right? Then you mic up Liam Hendricks in the 9th inning to close out the game. Only reason I believe, this is the only way I can think of, that they mic'd up Liam Hendricks because he was out there for the closing inning and they wanted to get a pitcher mic'd up. You know what I mean? I think they could have thrown anyone out there to close the game, they would have mic'd him up. Liam Hendricks goes out there, throws a ball, and they're going, Liam, can you hear us? Can you hear us? And he's like, fucking bullshit. I'm walking away on the mic, and they go, I don't think Liam can hear us. It was so funny.
Nice.
And he's Australian, too, which is really weird for an MLB pitcher, but I like it. He's from Australia.
But if we're talking about teams that had a good first half of the season, you got to throw out the Houston Astros.
Yeah.
Who, once again, are one of the best freaking teams in the entire league. Yeah.
Well,
moving on.
Look at who their manager is.
Moving on.
Somebody that Griff hates on way too much.
They also have a really good team, so they have good players.
Yeah.
Dusty Baker, I don't think he's bad, but he has had the luck of the draw with teams.
Yeah.
He's had so many good teams.
I just want to say,
Tomato.
he had some good Reds teams, right? He did. He has a really good Astros team, had some good Nationals teams. And the Cubs teams he was on were actually really freaking good.
Didn't he
but
win?
He ruined
with the
their
Nationals?
pitchers.
Didn't he win with the Nationals?
No, I thought it was Dave Martinez, I thought.
Is that who won?
Yeah.
No, he won with the... He won a World Series as a coach.
So those are the Giants with Barry freaking Bonds.
Oh, I thought.
No, never mind. They didn't win. No, they didn't
I'm gonna
win.
look this up.
Look it up. I didn't think he won one.
I thought he won one with Washington.
All I know is I'm pretty sure that was
Washington
Dave Martinez.
won their first one.
Yeah, but that was with Dave Martinez.
Before.
He wasn't the manager for that.
No?
Because he was on Washington when they had like Bryce Harper, when Trey Turner was young, Ryan Zimmer was in his prime. Like he was on the Washington when they had some good players, but it wasn't recently. If he won one, it wasn't within the last couple of years. I don't think it would have been like an older one. I know he took Barry Bonds to the World Series. He was the manager when Barry Bonds in the World Series, and the Cubs hired him after that.
Anyways, do we have any second half predictions? Who you guys think? Now that the first half is over and we can review our picks, because
my predictions, the Cubs go out and be buyers instead of sellers. They get another starting pitcher, an ace pitcher, and they go out, rip off 22, 23 in a row and get back into first place in the Central.
they're not that far out.
They're like, I think they're 8 or 7, but yeah.
8 games, that's doable.
It is doable, but
not likely, but it's doable.
I think I just want to know what it does to a morale in a clubhouse if you hear all their big names saying, like all the media saying, oh, they're not going to resign him, they're getting traded for sure. Like, what's that do to your psyche? Like, I want to play here. All those guys want to play here. They want to retire there.
I mean, they know what's going on.
Yeah.
They know more than the people on the television know.
For sure.
They're like, shut up, television people.
Yeah, you're right.
They told me they're giving me a contract, television people.
I hope so. Apparently, Baez said he wasn't worried about a contract. Like, he's not worrying about it. But some people were taking it as, he's not worried because he knows they're going to sign him. Or he's not worried, like saying, I'm not worried about that right now. I'm worried about baseball. So we'll see. But Cubs have a chance. Definitely dwindling, though. The Reds have been playing really well, but they started. How are they doing tonight?
No, they just lost 3 straight.
Oh, they lost 3 straight.
They're losing 7-3 versus the Mets.
They're down 7 games from the Central now.
No bueno, then.
No,
we need
not
the Brewers
looking
to start
good.
losing.
Well, they get the White Sox this week.
Oof, let's go.
So we need some White Sox to
White
some
Sox
victories, who have been great, as we've said on the pod. If I had to pick a World Series teams now, I think I picked Yankees and Dodgers before. Originally. And I'm going to stick with the Dodgers. They have plus 154 run differential, best in the league by far. So they score more runs than their opponents, like all the freaking time. And I would also go with the Houston Astros now instead of the Yankees. Okay. But don't count the Yankees out. I think Boston has overperformed, but I don't think the Yankees are as good as I thought it was.
Say that one more time.
What?
Who do you want?
Who do I want? I do not want the Astros in there.
No, like, who are your 2 teams?
It's got to be Astros and Dodgers.
Okay. My 2 teams are Tampa Bay and the Giants.
Ooh, Tampa Bay, they're down the division
Zach
now.
literally picked those teams because of payroll.
No, I just think this is the best team on the field.
Okay, Zach. You picked the Rays, the one team that had 1 All-Star?
Oh, yeah.
Didn't they make it to the World Series last year?
They've been
They
ice
also had
cold
a lot
lately.
more All-Stars than last year than they did this year.
They've been ice cold.
Well, let's just think about
All-Stars doesn't mean
Let's just think
anything.
about.
All-Stars like a fan vote, half of it.
Let's just think about this. In the course of a
Aroldis
year,
Chapman was an
the
all-star.
Tampa Bay Rays made it to a World Series. Tampa Bay Buccaneers won a Super Bowl. The Tampa Bay Lightning won a Stanley Cup.
Not gonna lie,
Tampa Bay, dude.
I don't think Tampa Bay can win it, even if they. I think they're really good. I think they still have a really good team and I like good players. I just don't think they'll win it because everyone talks about how good of a manager Kevin Cash is, but he still took out freaking their best ace pitcher when he was rolling in a pivotal game.
Wendy's
it
wouldn't
made
have done
no
it.
sense. It made, literally, that still makes no sense to
Listen,
me. John
you know why
Boy
he did
video
it?
is great.
You know why he did it?
The John Boy
you know why he
video
did
is
it, Griffin?
great. No,
because the stats.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he
He
did.
read the stats wrong. John Boy broke it down and said if he says it's because of the stats, he read the stats wrong.
Well, that's what he said. Was because it's
but
statistics.
He read the stats wrong. He showed the
Yeah,
advanced
see?
statistics.
That's why you don't trust stats.
Watch the John Boy video and tell me that he read the stats right because he showed.
Okay,
the
I'm going to
advanced
trust an
statistics.
MLB coach over John Boy.
Whoa, don't talk shit about John Boy.
That's
my dude.
That's our Lord. That's my Lord and Savior.
Yeah.
But he literally broke it down because it was against Mookie Betts. The reason they took him out, and they were showing usually a player gets better throughout the game against a pitcher. They see a pitcher more times, they hit better. With Mookie, it was the opposite. The more he saw a pitcher, the worse his numbers, his splits got. He got worse average, worse OPS, and worse slugging against a pitcher the same time, the second and third time through. It would have been the third time facing him, which was his lowest numbers against any pitcher would be with the third time through. And they said, oh, it's his third time seeing him. Let's take him out.
That's why you go off feel, not statistics.
He went off. I think he's dumb. I don't think he can read.
Well, he was also in
All
the
I know
World Series.
is all I know is David Bell probably would have taken him out too. So
Yeah.
He probably would have.
David Bell probably would have put like Amir Garrett in bottom of the ninth, 3-3 game in the game 7 of the World Series.
well, this is also assuming the Reds make a World Series with Amir Garrett on the roster. So,
jeez.
but
not.
yeah. Other than that, anyone you think's gonna get traded here soon? No Cubs players, please.
Well, Jock Peterson already got traded.
I know.
Did you hear about that?
Jack Peterson went to the Braves for a minor leaguer.
You were talking shit about him making the being an all-star.
Yeah, it was for sure.
And then he got traded.
Like he got traded to the Braves.
Like, how do you trade a guy, an all-star player?
He wasn't an all-star.
I thought he. Oh, it was
he
just
was
on the
a
final.
He was a finalist for
Gotcha.
voting. It was
Finalist.
strictly
Gotcha.
voting. It was all the Cubs fans voting. But they got a minor leaguer who had a double in his first at bat in the minors for the Cubs.
Oh,
so
that's
I'm
awesome.
just saying.
Right.
I think Trevor Story is for sure going to get traded.
Yeah.
I think Herman Marquez will get traded.
Also,
two Rockies
we were
players.
talking about this earlier. Some chatter about Starling Marte. Is that how you say his name?
Yeah.
You were saying it doesn't make sense to
Going
me.
from Miami to the Reds.
I think he can play infield though too.
And I mean, that'd be great.
I think he plays like
Shortstop?
I think he plays third base maybe. I'm not
no.
sure. I could be wrong. Or
Suarez is
second
good
base.
at
Maybe he
third
plays
base.
second base.
India's.
I think he's an
second.
outfielder by trade, but I think he can play some infield.
If they can put him at shortstop, I like it. But I do kind of agree with you. We have way too many outfielders on the Reds.
Yeah, you
but
gotta figure it out.
At center field, which is where he currently plays now, correct?
I get you can say he'd be a slight upgrade.
He
as
would
center
be.
field.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
But what do you give up for a slight upgrade? Is the question.
Shogo, I would give him up.
Right, but you can't just trade straight up.
Yeah,
You're not going to
listen,
trade straight
so
up for a worse player.
The one thing
Amir
right
Garrett.
now, so
Just throw a fantasy football trade out there.
this is literally he's doing NBA Twitter right now. People make fun of the Lakers because like, oh, we can get Dame. Here's our old reliable, and they pull out like 3 crappy players in the Lakers for Damian Lillard.
Right.
That's really what you're doing. It's hard because they're going to have
Moustakis.
They're going to have to give
for
up young
any,
talent.
for any type
Nick
of all star.
Senzel.
Young talent.
How much
Nixon's
younger
out.
than Nick?
like minor league.
Think
like
about it.
talent.
Think about if this makes sense though. I don't think this makes sense for one reason only. Right? One or two reasons I should say. One, do you think Starling Marte will re-sign with them?
Probably not.
Well, I don't know. Why not?
Dude,
I don't know.
Miami, I don't know.
He's got to pay him.
I feel like historically, if you look at players they trade midseason for rentals, they call them, they almost never re-sign. You know what I mean? They go and get money somewhere else because he's coming off an all-star year. He's going to want to get paid more, right?
Yeah.
So one, you got to think if they're going to re-sign him, and two, is it worth it for when you're 8 games back, trading for a player and giving up a young talent for a player who they're going to be asking for more than what he's worth because he's an all-star for the second time ever?
Are you talking about the Reds being 8 games back? Or
Yeah.
They're seven, the Reds are 7 games back. Sorry, but
Well, Miami's not that far back either.
Don't slander us like that.
no.
yeah.
But what I'm
Get
saying
it
is,
right, Griffin.
it doesn't make
Where are
sense.
the Cubs at?
It doesn't make sense to get a player like that for the fact that it's probably a rental. You're going to give up young talent for him for half a season for a season that you may not make the playoffs even. So
Well, can't you still restructure a contract after a trade?
yeah, but I think he's in the last year of his deal. Like I think he's going to be a free agent. They'd have to extend him during the season. Like
I agree with him.
extension.
Reds need a closer. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Go trade for Craig Kimbrell. The Cubs are trying to deal him.
Deal us.
I don't think they'll trade in the division. So,
But that'd be smart.
They do it all the time.
Yeah.
Well, no, they sign out of the division.
they signed. Like it's really rare. I think they trade in the
trade.
division, especially if you're like technically still in a race. You know
They
what I
traded
mean?
the Mets. Let's take the polar bear.
The polar bear? Yeah. Do you want to talk about the Miami thing you were talking about earlier? About how good their pitching is and them being the worst team?
Oh, yeah. Well, Zach loves to talk about managers. And I said, you want to see a bad manager here? I can't remember what I sent you, but the Miami Marlins are plus 16 in run differential, and they're like 40 and 54 or something. And I'm like, I mean, dude, that's got to be bad management, I would think. I mean, they literally have scored more runs than the opponent, but like 12 games behind 500.
They're 40 and 53.
13
and
games behind
plus
500.
600 run.
No, not plus 600.
That's what you said.
Plus like 14.
I'm sorry, plus 16. Sorry.
Plus 16. Yeah. So, I mean, that's obviously you're losing close games, right? That's the only explanation there is you're losing close games.
So this is kind of unrelated, but it's trade news. But like, if Chris Bryant gets traded, I'm going off on this fucking podcast, just so you guys know.
He won't.
Like, you guys need to give me like a 10-minute side for me just to bitch about the Cubs.
He won't.
Oh.
If there's anyone they're going to resign for that team, it's got to be Chris Bryant.
That's what I'm saying. That's what everyone's saying. But
Javi Baez has been talked about being traded.
I know they've all been like, even Anthony Rizzo, who's like the captain. Like all the fans want to put a C on his chest because the last time the Cubs, Sammy Sosa used to have a C on his jersey for like the captain.
Mm-hmm. This isn't like, New York.
I know. They didn't have a C on their chest either. It was
the
Red Sox did. Jason Varitek had one, but Sammy Sosa had one when he was on the team, and everyone's like, "Oh, make Anthony Rizzo the captain." He's been the longest tenured Cub. He was there in the shitty years, and he's there in the good years, and it's like that.
We're going to trade him.
They still wouldn't re-sign him. Like it's so frustrating. I'm just telling you, if Brian gets traded, I'm going off on this fucking podcast. I'm already prepping myself for Max Payne. And I've already got statistics to back up my Max Payne.
I don't see it.
I don't see it either, but the Cubs are so cheap.
I don't see any three of them. They're going to pay him.
I hope so. It doesn't make sense for them not to pay him.
They're going to pay him.
Like
that's my opinion.
I think personally, I think they're looking for a reason to not pay them. They're saying, "What are the reasons that we don't pay them?"
How many great players have they given up? Minus, I mean, Nick Castellanos was like a short term kind of.
Yeah, it was a rental. It was a rental.
Yeah,
and they didn't want to pay him. Well, I had him for 2 years though.
Other than that, have they let a homegrown player walk?
Have they let a homegrown player walk? I have to think about it for a second. They let Kerry Wood and Mark Pryor walk, but they had some injury issues. And then Kerry Wood came back eventually.
I don't see it. They're going to pay him.
I'd have to think about it. I really hope so.
I think so.
All right, boys, you got anything else?
I'm good to roll.
All right, get us out here, Jake.
Thank y'all for listening to episode 80, Sports Edition of the Gridiron Garage. Go ahead and follow our Instagram page. We had some polls up yesterday, and we'll get into those on Thursday's episode. So we'll see you then.